Hi, I'm Friar Tuck, and this is my epoch. And on this channel, we cover homeless awareness and homeless advocacy. And today, we're going to be talking about a big contributor right now to the homeless crisis, which is people are struggling financially. And you may be asking yourself, well, why are people struggling financially? And how is this contributing to homelessness? Homelessness really is. In large part, a large majority of it has to do with economics. But there's a lot of contributing factors that contribute to the economic factor. But really, when it comes down to it, it's having enough money to be able to afford a place to live. Well, with the things that are going on right now, just let's be honest, let's be real with what's going on. The dollar, when Saudi Arabia decided to no longer peg the dollar to the petrodollar, the United States lost its final export. Our export was US dollars, and now nobody wants US dollars. So what does that mean? That means that since it's our currency and it's been traded around the world, it's all going to come back here. Okay, and when it comes back here, this is going to be the epicenter of where the collapse is going to happen. Okay, and so now we have all of these dollars coming home, but none of the dollars going out, and so therefore it's inflating our currency because we got too many dollars at home. And not only that, being able to get things to be shipped from one part of the world to another part of the world is becoming much harder. Like whenever I do Amazon orders right now, and if I can't pick it up in a locker within 1 to 2 days, I'm not even ordering it because it takes 1 to 2 weeks for simple items to get to you if you want to have it mailed to you. Okay. And so, the cost of shipping is causing businesses to rise, to raise prices, which then therefore is being passed on to the end consumer. And because the businesses are being squeezed because of this, it's not just the people, it's the businesses as well that are getting squeezed in all of this. Now it's forcing companies, I think it was like CVS that went out of business a couple months ago. They've officially closed all their stores. I mean, how many thousands of people lost their jobs? And why did CVS go out of business? Was it the cost of shipping plus the lack of customers because they can't pay their people anymore because they're paying more in shipping charges? Okay, and so therefore the people aren't getting the raises, but the cost is being passed to the consumer, and the consumer can no longer afford it. So therefore they're buying less things, and when they buy less things, that means businesses that could afford to pay employees are no longer able to pay employees, and then have to go out of business eventually. Okay, and so now we're starting to see companies go out of business, big companies that we thought would be around for generations to come. But people thought Sears would be around for a long time to come too. People thought Macy's would be around, Meyer and Frank would be around, but companies come and go. The difference between then and now is that we're probably not going to be replacing those companies because the larger corporations that are even bigger than that are going to swallow them up and take up their market share to be able to offset their losses and to be able to make the profits that they need to be able to make. And so therefore we're going to become one giant corporation as a nation as far as our economy. And so you're going to have Walmart and Amazon running everything instead of mom and pop shops and the diversity of businesses. Okay, but this is leading to high cost of living, and a high cost of living means that people are having to choose between paying rent and going and buying food. And if you have to choose between that, a smart person is going to choose food because they're going to choose to live over creature comforts. And so with people struggling, it is making one of the biggest contributions to the overall homeless crisis, especially with the global economic collapse that we're going through right now. There are a lot of different things that are making this hard as well. We have also not just a disruption in the supply chain, but what about the wars that are going on in the Middle East and in Eurasia? What about like Ukraine? That's the breadbasket of the world. That's some of the most fertile land, and it's being destroyed and blown up, and crops aren't able to be done. So now you're going to have, it's causing another increase in the way in which we live. And with us having the dollar and the dollar being decoupled, now all of a sudden it's making things even more expensive. So in reality, this is, a lot of people have asked me or question me when I say we're going to see probably about 30% of the American population become homeless. That's 90 million people. Out of 350 million people, that's 90 million people that are going to become homeless, even if they have a job. Because the thing is a lot of homeless now, a lot of people that are becoming homeless are still keeping their jobs because they still need to support themselves. So they're not being lazy and they're not drug addicts. They're living in their car and then they're getting rustled up and stuff like that. But they got to make it to work the next day so that they can afford to pay for their car insurance and buy themselves food and gas and not be a beggar on society. But the thing is that the cost of living and how high costs are getting, that even the workers are probably going to be out there panhandling part-time. I would not be surprised, because not only will their hours be cut because as people can buy less and less. I mean, when we have a normal economic downturn, we go from maybe 1% of the population being homeless to no more than 3% of the population being homeless, as far as what we've got documented. And to see a tenfold increase in that, I mean, just imagine how much harder it's going to be. And so not only this will also expand homelessness and make homelessness become more mainstream, and like we look at minimalists and people that are going and buying tiny homes. People are doing that because of how high and how expensive everything's getting. To be able to make something affordable and have something to live in so that they can meet the standards of society, they're having to pay more for less. Well, eventually homelessness will become the same way, is people will start figuring out ways to make it where it's not so bad on them. But then again, you've also got to worry about the fact that the government is now militarizing itself against us, as they have destroyed our currency and put us in this position, through our election of them. Now they want to turn against us, the very people that vote for them. But they don't want your vote. They only want the rich people's vote, and the rich people are the only people that care anyways, or that matter anyways, because they're the ones that have the money, because they've already fleeced you until you're broke to begin with. Okay, guys, you know how to help the channel. I am working on crowdfunding for a van for me and Sam, my dog, so that we can, get off of living outside and have four walls around us and start the next phase of our journey. So if you'd like to help, all that's down in the description. Everything any way to help the channel is down in the description, unless you want to become a subscriber or come over and join the memberships on Patreon or here on YouTube to get early access. You guys know how to help the channel. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. And I will see you in the next video.